Hello and welcome everyone
Oh,
to the third, I think, BIRCON
yeah.
stream.
Oh,
Last time we had fun with strangers. This time we're going to examine the pages less turned, or at least slightly less turned in some cases, like the first game we're going to look at.
yeah.
I am joined here by Tina and I am Frank.
Hi, everyone.
We thought it would be cool to look at some of the systems that are going to be on offer at BIRCON, which is in less than a week now
Just
from the
yeah,
live recording.
yeah.
And because we have a lot of people there, a lot of people might be newer to the hobby, and while everyone knows their Dungeons and Dragons and probably their Pathfinders and even maybe their Candela Obscuras and Dagger Hearts, there are other systems that you might not know so much. And so we thought we'd have a look at 4 of them in this video and give a little introduction and quick overview and why you might want to play it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. What's fun about it? What you can expect?
So without too much further ado, Gesundheit, let us look at the first one. This is Pirate
Pirate
Borg.
board.
Now, that's what I say is slightly less well known because Pirate Borg has actually exploded recently. It is based on the equally explosive Merkborg system, which came out a few years ago, which was written by Pelle Nielsen and Johan Nohr, with graphic design by Johan Nohr, and was basically, as they told me, the game they've wanted to make in the most crazy format that they wanted to make. It looks amazing. And it's a very straightforward but very brutal sort of game.
And a bit creepy, I would say.
And quite creepy. Yeah.
Quite
Quite
creepy.
creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pirate Borg is a standalone game, but it's based on the same rules. It's largely, I mean, it's very, very similar, but of course, it is all about pirates and undead and cosmic horrors. So there's a lot of good stuff happening at once. It was written, illustrated, and laid out by Luke Stratton, who's also known as Limithwan. Before he got into this, he wrote a lot of stuff for pirate adventures and stuff for D&D. And then he did this, and it became a massive hit, and it looks amazing, I think. You'll see in the background just a random slideshow of pictures from it. It is full of illustrations and full of great ideas, and you can riff it with it so easily. I've run this a lot myself. Can't remember what I've played it a lot as well. I played the Drunken Vampire, I remember now.
I've played also a few times. Have never run it, but it's a lot of fun as a player because you get to do like really weird stuff and just have fun with it, with the pirates and the zombies and everything in between, I would say.
Yeah. It's part of a sort of type of game known as the OSR. I think that's fair to say. And OSR stands either for old school Renaissance, or what was the other possible? I forget what the other thing is. But I think, and there are many essays about what it means, etc., etc. But I think what it boils down to is that it doesn't try and create a rule for everything. It has general rules, and then a lot of the rest is up to the players at the table and the GM to interpret as and when it happens. That requires a good relationship with the GM, I think, in that regard. But I also think that the sort of GMs who run OSR games do it because they love doing that. And they love seeing interesting stories happen. They love it when the players do crazy stuff and give them, good chances for that happening. And when something doesn't happen, they like to fail forward, still keep the story going in interesting ways, so that as a player, it can be extremely enjoyable to fail horribly at something.
Yeah.
Some of the games are also quite lethal, so there's that. I remember our
I
friend
mean,
Anna.
it's pirate zombies, right? So, I mean,
Yeah, you say zombies, but I remember our friend. Oh no! Sorry, it was Kara. Kara's character in the pirate board game got pecked to death by a seagull.
seagulls also can be lethal. Yeah, yeah. I remember once we had the we as a player group, we burned down a little pirate village. There were reasons for it.
It wasn't a
Like,
pirate village; it was a regular
no,
village.
it was a regular village. In my mind, I think, oh, it's a pirate village. It's fine. We burned down. We had our reasons at the time, I think. And I think a few sessions later, they came back with a massive ship named the Consequences. So we were always like, oh no, the consequences of our actions, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun for me too. I was GMing that, and
Yeah,
was
we were like, oh no, the consequences of our actions
the
each time we saw.
surviving villagers have convinced
Yeah.
a nearby ship to take them on a revenge mission. What should the ship be called? I know.
Yeah.
No, that's great. What else can we say about this? I think you have some of the standard. Oh, not standard, but you have really interesting classes like the Brute, the Sorcerer, the Buccaneer, but on top of that, you can go a little bit deep. The Swashbuckler, of course, and the Zealot. You can also play, for example, the Haunted Soul, which is a ghost or a zombie or a vampire or skeleton or some other example version of one of the others. That can be a lot of fun if your character died, for example. You come back as a restless spirit of that character or something. And optionally, if the GM allows it, the Tall Tale class, which includes things like merfolk, aquatic mutants, sentient animals. That's great. For example, the bilge rat or the fowl,
Foul.
like a chicken.
Oh, seagulls?
Possibly seagull, yeah. And why not? So, and like some of the other ones, this puts a lot of emphasis on your, not so much your gear, but your hat.
Oh yeah, it's true. It was the hats and sometimes the boots, right? Like it's the hat and the boot.
I mean, there's things like a plain tricorn, a fancy tricorn, a morion, which is the Kistador helmet, and then some classes cruelly don't get a hat at all. That's terrible things.
Terrible fate. As a pirate.
Anyway, the book comes with a really rather expansive starting adventure. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, and there's a bunch of adventures out for it, lots of third-party adventures. There's also a list somewhere that the creators are keeping, where they list appropriate adventures from any number of systems. And finally, there was a Kickstarter for a starter set, which comes with a number of tokens and stuff that you can use for ship to ship, for naval combat, which is a potentially a big part of this, and quite a lot of fun. And a bunch of other adventures in there. That Kickstarter exploded, and what's coming out of it there for backers now is going to be an amazing number of things. Yeah. Is there something else you wanted to say about Pirate Book?
No, I think that sums it up well. Yeah.
All right, then let's move on to our second system. I teased in the in one of the posts about this that a couple of these systems would be slightly self-serving, because this one and the next one are ones that I publish. So this is Hyper Tellurians, which is a science
Oh, God,
fantasy
also got
system
it.
that yeah, that was very let me try that again, very well received, and is now in its third printing already. And so that's really nice, and I had a lot of fun with that. But like all big endeavors, this was of course a teamwork. So I did the writing and layout. Friends from the UK, David Fuller and James Mapp, contributed parts of it as well. Editing and proofreading from Chris Coleman, Karen Redding, and Howard Wagner. A variety of playtesters, of course, which includes Tina. Cover art by Anna Moller, who was in our first stream for BIRCON, I think. Interior art by Anna Moller, Karen Redding, Olga Protska, Beto Lima, Katie Wakelin, and Scape Fiend. It also includes some patron art that at the time I had licensed, and some public domain art that was been played around with. And then there's a huge list of playtesters in here. And this system came to be because I wanted to run a campaign which included a variety of adventures I had on my shelf. They were from different systems themselves. They were also kind of different settings, and I wanted a way to connect them all together. And I couldn't really find the right system to run that. So after having gamed my whole life, I decided it was finally time to write one. And to do that, I just stole my favorite parts from all of the other systems that I loved, and added some new stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tina, do you want to talk us a little bit about this, a little bit through the system?
So I would say it's rules light. Like you don't have to like read like 100 pages to understand how it's played. You can get in it pretty fast, which I like. It's played with a d20. You have like 3 stats: agility, brawn, and mind. I've got I think you have the character sheet in the back. Yeah. But looks like that. It doesn't show. Yeah. Okay. That doesn't work.
It flies past in the slideshow occasionally.
Yeah. You have like different archetypes which you can decide on playing, which I think helps as a player to just really quickly have an idea about what you want to play. But it's also not very restrictive. Also for setting, what I liked about it is that you can play this in a medieval setting. You can play this in a like hyper futuristic sci-fi setting, or something in between, or both maybe. Like have the robots and have the sword wielding beasts or something like that, which can be quite a lot of fun. And the archetypes are I don't know if I get them all. Like the revenant, you've got the alien, the royal, the ultranaut, which is my personal favorite. I think I almost play always the ultranaut. And I forgot one, I think, or two.
Beast and Construct, I think.
The beast and the constructs, yes. And I think what Hyperdelirian is very special about it is the wonder system, which is something that can be gained from wondrous stuff that you see or maybe do as a player. And it's a communal pool of wonder, and you can spend this wonder to do again some wondrous actions or get out of a tricky situation. And you can use this really creatively. Like there's like one version where you remember a scene from your past which like perfectly helps you in the situation that you have going on right now. And then when you spend this wonder, you can advance. So you have to see wondrous stuff and do wondrous stuff and spend this to advance, which is quite a neat thing to do, I think, because it's forcing you as a player to be adventurous, be risky, do stuff, because this is the way you advance.
Yeah, exactly. And part of the goal was also with these archetypes is to think about what are the types of character concepts that we see out in the wild in fantasy and sci-fi, and to create like a basis to bring it back down to, and we came down to six that we found, and they have some starting powers that are always there, and then they have some additional powers you can choose, and there's some generic powers that every archetype has access to. And with that, I think you have 5 total to begin with. You can create, werewolf starting characters, vampire starting characters, big robots which have a slot in their chest for someone else to sit in and stuff like that. So some
Very
games you
versatile.
have to pun.
It's very versatile.
Yeah, so some games you have to sort of work towards the character that you really want to play, but here you start with that character, and then
I think. Sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah, it's you're starting out as the hero, right? Like it's established you're some kind of hero or
Yeah, the Hypertellurians, the
yeah.
the Earthling who is better than other Earthlings. Right?
Yeah.
And it is, however, so it's quite freeing for the GM because you can throw a lot at the characters. You can throw a lot of damage at them because with these wondrous actions, for example, they almost always have a way out if they've got some left, But if they start taking real damage, it goes into trauma, as you can kind of see just there. And there can go things like, you explode. No one expected you to explode, but here we are. Things like that. So it's whimsical a bit, and it's very much influenced by the sci-fi of old. Sci-fi as it was imagined in the sort of 50s and that area, perhaps. Again, here the main book comes with a massive adventure that you see some pages of in the starting. The first printing did not, and people complained, even though there are free adventures on the website. But I thought, damn it, I'll write a small adventure to go in there 40 pages later. And there we are. There's a lot of other adventures to be had for this, including other hardcover books as well. It's always been a big hit at conventions as well, because the pre-gen characters that come with it at the con are pretty crazy. So I think that's a lot of fun. And yeah, I think that's Hypertellurians, unless you want to say anything else about that.
No. What I like about the book is that you have the glossary at the beginning, which not only tells you where you can find more information on the keyword that you're searching for in the book, but it also sums up it a little bit. So if you just quickly want to have a look, what is it about abilities again, or what is it about what are wondrous actions again, you can have like a really quick look, or you can have a deeper dive also in the book, which is very easy to maneuver, I think.
Yes, I was trying to combine index and glossary kind of in one place, and
it works.
I think that's quite useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
One additional thing that we didn't mention that might be worth quickly mentioning is the concept of tags. So both equipment and other things can have tags on them, and that's just little discrete mechanical, most of the time mechanical effects. Sometimes they're just natural language effects that you interpret in a way that makes sense. But that is also a way of making even mundane pieces of equipment, for example, quite interesting and useful by their own right. You don't have to have something that is magical. You don't need to +1 this or that. You can just have something which has the backswing tag, for example, which I can't remember exactly, but I think it's if you miss with your first attack in a round, your second attack gets a bonus or does more damage. And that's the other thing about it. You get two actions per round. They can be 2 spell castings, 2 attacks, 2 running, any combination of that.
Or you can act fast, right? It's either you act fast or you do the 2 actions.
That's
But
right. Yes, the
yeah,
initiative system, which
it's
is
also
you either are guaranteed to go before the enemy, but only get 1 action, or you take your regular turn and you get 2, but you might not go before them. So, yeah. Okay, let's move on to my second self-serving ad, and then we get back to other stuff, promise. This is Walden. Walden was released as a zine and is now an ongoing series of zines. Issues 2 and 3 are coming soon and together. And issue 1 was kickstarted a few months ago, and it's, how many pages is it? I think it's 48 pages. Yes, 48 pages. It's about yay thick. Okay, I don't know how. It is currently sold out, but hopefully I get a new printing this coming week in time for BIRCON. Otherwise, I'll be very annoyed. Here again, we have the writing and graphic design by myself. We have the cover art by Henriette Bolt. This is friggin' awesome as well. And we have interior art by Anna Moller again, myself, because I was cheap in this book a bit, and Karen Redding. Editing is by Chris Coleman and Karen Redding, and a huge list of playtesters as per usual. This is a system that came out of Hypertellurians. Pretty shortly after Hypertellurians, I thought, what if we can make character creation a bit faster? Because it's very simple in Hypertellurians, but because you have a lot of options, it can take a while to look through it and to create something. Because that happens in downtime, that's not so bad, right? You don't have to spend any time during play to stop and read rules or anything like that. So that was okay, but I wanted to speed that up even. And at first I thought like a die drop, you have all the powers and whatnots, and you just drop a bunch of die, and that's your character stats and then your powers, but nothing quite worked out with that. And I wanted to add also, I mean, I liked the brawn, agility, mind trio of ability scores, but I also wanted to add something more for social engagement, for not engagement so much, but for social graces, and that's what it became here, graces. Additionally, the system is an ode to my favorite die, the D12, which doesn't get enough love. And rather than a pass or no pass, here we have a more graded success range. You can either fail, have a partial success, or success, and criticals on either end. Additionally, for these dice, before you roll, you build up like a dice pool. So you always start with a D12. If you have an appropriate gift, I'll talk about gifts in a sec, then you might add a second die. If you have someone helping you, you might add a third die. But if you fail, then they share the consequences with you. And you might have an environmental or situational advantage that might give you the fourth D12, which is the maximum. You roll the 4d12, let's say you get up to 4, you take the highest and you add your ability score bonus, which is generally between 1 and 4 to it, and then you just compare it to a scale. 1 to 6 is a failure, 7 to 12 is a partial success, 13 or above is a success. And if you roll doubles in any of the rolls, any 2 of all the dice that you rolled, it can be a critical. It can either be a critical failure if the highest is still a failure, or critical success. You don't get critical partials.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, and there will eventually be 8 cults that are available to play as. The first zine includes the first 2 cults, and maybe Tina, you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah. So you got I would start with the Purgus Pact. It's witchy vibes, I would say. It can be either direction, like it can be I don't know, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or like the girl from The Ring or something. So it can be like either spectrum of the witchy experience. And with the Purgus Pact, you mostly always also have grimoires, which are like magic books which contain spells. And the fun thing is that you do at the beginning of the day, you always do a ritual to get a cantrip, I think, and maybe even discover a new spell in your spell book. So, and the more people you involve in the ritual, the better your chances are. So, it's always you always try to group the people together, basically,
And
to do
and
your
sorry
ritual.
to interject, but yes, but some of those rituals are quite interesting, shall we say? So the game creates itself just by having one Purgus Pack character trying to
Yeah,
convince the other player characters to join in with the ritual.
yeah, definitely. It's always fun to see how you can convince the other player characters. No, you really should dance naked, covered in blood in the morning. It's very refreshing, you know.
Good for the skin, I hear. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one, I'm so sorry. I will butcher the name. The Cynical of Wood Rose and Inflorescence,
That's perfect.
which yeah, they have plants and or flowers inside them. So they don't bleed blood. They have they're made from plants. They are plants. They are trees. They're flowers. Whatever basically you want to do with that. And their powers usually help modify the body, like grow thorns, have bark skin or something like that. So yeah, I think these are the two that
Yeah.
we play tested first also. Yeah.
Yeah, the woodwows sort of range the gamut between beautiful elven creature or something along that to like terrible thing of the forest, like what you just saw there.
Yeah.
And you can really play it either way and play something incredibly ancient or something with altogether too many arms and beyond.
Yeah.
So the other things that is a little bit special about Walden is actually maybe I should go back a step and say the premise of Walden is that Walden is like the all forest, an ancient forest that maybe touches all other forests in existence. And inside, in the middle of that, is the heart of the forest. Whether that's metaphysical or very real is debatable. And there are these 8 cults that have discovered this and that are now protecting it and using its power and still understanding its power. And so the player characters are made up of one of these 8, of which 2 are published at the moment. 2 more are coming very, very soon. And each cult, or most of the cults, have their own little shtick, whether it be a mechanical shtick or just a really sort of more optional things. The Purgus Pact have their grimoire magic, and the book comes with, I want to say, 4 complete grimoires in it. Each has a ritual, a cantrip, and 4 spells. And these spells are pretty crazy, dangerous, powerful, or interesting, hopefully. And the rest of your character is made up of these gifts, and there are essentially 4 types of gifts. There are traits, which are quite versatile, because, as I say, any gift, if it's relevant, can add a die to your roll. You have your powers, your equipment gifts, and you can have wounds. Okay, it's under the gift bracket, but it takes up a space nevertheless,
Yeah.
and you have limited amount of slots. And so if you take wounds, then these slots disappear and you're unable to use your gift, use your equipment and stuff until you are healed. The other
Yeah.
thing to mention, oh, pardon.
No, yeah, about the wounds is that I mean, if we compare it to Hypertolerians, Volden is very deadly. Like you actually don't want to fight. You want to try to somehow get out of this situation creatively. Compared to Hypertolerians, where you're like, aha, I'm the hero. You know, I will shoot up this
That's quite right.
this gatherings of aliens. I don't know. Right? So, yeah.
And perhaps the last thing to say about Walden is you have one mechanic that does all the lifting for a lot of different things. You have the regular challenge, which is, as we explained, you need, you build your dice pool and you get over, you're 13 or over. Then you have an extended challenge, which you might be looking at like a difficulty of this larger challenge of say 8 or something like that, and then each character can contribute to this in whatever fashion suits them best. They get to suggest this, and then you slowly, you slowly get this difficulty down until it hits 0, and then you've completed the goal of the challenge. Similar but slightly reversed is a travel montage, which has the same thing. It has a difficulty, but here it's the GM that outlines the obstacles, and you say how or who will help counter them. And the final application of the mechanic is downtime, and there's different types of downtimes, and you can then gain additional powers, invent new equipment, or go carousing. Carousing is high risk, high reward, but it's
Yes.
always fun from the story point of view. Each cult has their own carousing table because every cult lets their hair down in a different way, in its own way, as it were, and they're great fun to write those carousing tables. And it's not unusual for like a Purgus Pact member to find themselves up on a getting ready to be burned to death as a witch or something like that, and not remembering why. Yeah.
Yep.
Any last words on Walden?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
You can all expect the next few cults are also very interesting. So just look forward to that.
Tina has, of course, playtested a couple of them already. Okay, then let's move on to our final, last but definitely not least system, and this is Vaults of Varn. Now, Vaults of Varn also found its life through a series of zines. It started with issue 1, Vault of Varn. This is written, illustrated, and laid out by Leo Hunt, who I had the pleasure to meet a couple of years ago at the Norwich Games Convention in England. And I picked up a bunch of these zines from him. The first one details the rules, explains a bit about the setting, and has a variety of ancestries in it that are all incredibly interesting. And lots of tables about how to, create more stuff on the fly, lots of generators and stuff. And it's really, really interesting. And it is the system that we're using for the BIRCON Sunday after party, where we're playing a big old adventure with everyone who has got a golden ticket, who's managed to find a golden ticket during the convention. And they get a chance to compete with their character in the arena. And when the character dies or otherwise passes out, a new ticket holder is brought onto the table to continue. So Vaults of Varn. Varn is a desert made of blue sand with a red sun. It's set in the far future, and it's inhabited by humans, mutants, robots, talking animals, fungus men, and more. It's both archaic and futuristic, so it actually shares a lot of that DNA with Hypertellurians, but Varn has its setting baked in. In Hypertellurians, it's only like hinted at, and it's up to you. So there's a lot of incredibly cool stuff in this, and I'm sure Tina has a bunch of questions. But first, I want to quickly outline the system. It's very D&D light like. That doesn't make sense. It's like D&D, but it's a light version of it. You have strength, dexterity, constitution, intellect, psyche, and ego as your ability scores. Each ability score has a defense and a bonus value. And the bonus value, or rather the defense value, is the bonus value plus 10.
Oh,
And when you roll, and this is called a saving throw, you roll and you roll a d20 and you add your bonus from the relevant ability score, and you are trying to hit, like if you have an opponent, you're trying to hit their defense score.
Okay.
So in actually Hypertellurians is similar there as well in that regard. But then on top of that, you have your item slots, you have mystic gifts, and you have exotica.
What are exotica?
Right. Well, exotica are. Let me find some examples. Here's some mystic gifts tables. Here's a giant exotica table. So they are strange, rare objects that are highly sought after in the setting.
Oh, okay.
And the things like a fool's head, like the severed head of a synthetic jester, not in great condition, but can still remember some jokes. And sandworm horn. Blow outdoors to summon the sandworm if you're bold enough. Or I think we know where that inspiration came from. Midas bomb transforms organic matter into gold. Yeah, black heart, repulsive twitching cyborg organ, will slowly and painfully revive a single dead body. I love this. So
Nice.
the stuff like that.
Okay, so it's special items, interesting equipment that you can have.
Yes, and it's all steeped in the lore and the setting of Varn.
Oh.
And then of course you have mutations. So there are here in this book several ancestries that are quite interesting. The Truekin, they're the ones who seal themselves inside hidden arcologies, and arcology is like a biodome sort of thing almost, when the Great Collapse came, in ancient times. And they preserve their bodies from degradations that afflict those left living on the surface. So they're basically, they're almost like remnants of humans, but they're obviously some of the worst that humans had to offer, because they locked themselves away during that time. So then every ancestry has also like this a special. In this case, you get to choose between the Pure of Blood and Inheritor. So Pure of Blood means you don't roll mutations during character creation. You gain advantage on reaction rolls when you encounter other Truekin. Or an Inheritor would be when you encounter pre-collapse security systems or guard systems, there's 50% chance that they will still recognize you as their master. So that's quite interesting. Then you have the Cacogen. They're the mutated descendants of those unfortunates who were left to weather the Great Collapse. So they're the ones who were not in the arcologies or the biodomes. And they have mutated. And so we have a lot of quite interesting mutations. You can choose more than one, I believe. You must roll for mutations during character creation. You will find D100 on the following spread. It suggests that you roll no more than 3 times for mutation. Yeah. And yeah,
Is it?
indeed.
Can you pick up mutations during the game? Like, is that
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely. Like for example, the Trukian loses some of their powers. Obviously, if they become visibly deformed and mutated. So
Yeah.
yeah, you have the synth. The ancients created many wondrous artifices, perhaps none so worthy as envy as the thinking machines that were built to flatter and serve them. So they have synthetic flesh and synthetic mind. So that's great. New beasts. They're humanoid animals, essentially. So you have things like a new gecko, a new gibbon, new scorpion, or new locust, or new weasel, and so on and so forth. That's a lot of fun. The beasthood special means you get advantage on saves whenever it would make sense for your animal nature to provide it. The mycomorphs are essentially sort of mushroom-like things, but maybe with antenna growing out. So,
Are these things the little?
was it? In Van, many things have intertwined, and much that was once the province of mankind alone, speech, reason, art, religion, has been granted to other forms of life, and they hold themselves as humanity's equal. In a mycomorph, death and life are held in strange balance, for these creatures are formed of cadaverous flesh and voracious fungus, and they name their kind the twice born. Sculptors of living matter and artisans of decay, they remake human flesh for their own purposes, and there's no shortage of raw material in the blue ruins. So they're a lot of fun and still quite cute. I mean, look at that guy.
Oh, yeah. I saw him in the slideshow.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
look cute. Yeah.
In other zines, many additional ancestries are detailed, and they will all be available at the game, at the after party. Including the lithlings, they are sort of made of crystalline synthetic material that cannot be repaired once they go past adulthood. And that means they start off with an enormous pool of hit points, but they can never ever heal, which I thought was great fun.
It's a fun mechanic. Yeah.
Yeah. And a few others that I don't know offhand. And just the reason this was chosen as the system for the after party was it was D&D like, so easy to pick up for a lot of people who might only have experience with D&D. The second point was that it was really interesting and really flavorful in its setting, in its items, in its powers and everything. I think that's really important. Otherwise, it can get quite bland, especially with stripped down systems, with simpler systems. And the third and quite important point was that it has an online character generator, because we're going to be needing a lot of characters on Sunday. So I really needed that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. I have run this. I have not had the chance to play it yet. And I should mention that there is a second edition coming fairly soon. So there was a Kickstarter or maybe back a kit, some crowdfunding of some kind, where he's doing a second edition where a lot of the stuff that has been published in these scenes is coming together, updated and modernized with even more art, and in a big hardcover, and it's looking really interesting. I'm looking forward to getting that as well. I don't know when that's going to hit. In the meantime, you can buy all this stuff on itch and various other platforms. There's a big SRD on there. All the rules are available for I think under a Creative Commons license, if I'm not mistaken. Hang on. Okay, I'm not 100% sure about that now, so please don't quote me on this. But yeah, what do you think of that? Just from the sounds of it.
It sounds really fun. Also sounds like something that you would be able to get into quite quickly, because the rules are with the setting, like it's connected. So I think it's very easy to imagine like a character living on this planet or world, and then just going with it with the system. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would the so the combat, is it like is it similar to D&D? So you got initiative, and then you roll, and then you add your. We already talked about the ability score, the bonus, right? But
Yeah.
is it something
So you have
round based, or yeah?
your armor essentially determines your defense value, and again you have like an armor bonus and a defense value. So if
Yeah.
you have no armor, your defense, you're 10 to hit, and if you have like a armor +3, you're 13 to hit.
Yeah.
So the other person rolls their strength or dexterity depending on the attack, adds
Yeah.
their bonus, and you beat the opponent's defense in that thing. For the life of me, I can't remember how initiative works. It is, but
I'm just asking because if it is similar to D&D, that's what I
yeah,
was
it's
wondering.
definitely
Yeah.
it's a turn-based thing. You move and take one action.
Okay.
And I can't remember
I mean,
why
it's
I can't find the initiative now.
we'll see on Sunday for the people with
Yeah, I will.
the golden
I'll need,
ticket. So
I'll need to remind myself of it. And also, I
yeah.
just realized as a light, I have played this last year at Norwich Games Convention. We had an industry meetup the night before, and illustrator and writer Andrew Walters from Meltsonia Arts Council was there and asked. We were downstairs in a pub whether anyone wanted to join a quick game of Vaults of Varn, and so we were all like, "Yeah." I don't remember that much of what happened, but I remember having a lot of fun.
Yeah, sounds cool. Sounds cool.
Awesome. We've hit our time as well, so this is great. I think with that we can close off this session. I am very much looking forward to BIRCON and the
Yes.
after party, and I hope I get everything prepared in time for the various games I'm running.
I still have to sign up for the games.
Yes, enrollment is open as of today.
Yes.
Cool. Then thank you very much, everyone who's been watching us live. Everyone's going to watch this later. And if you're in the Berlin area next year, around about this time, consider coming to BIRCON. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.